The summer's over, and I smell the same way you do. That's right, the summer's come to a close officially, with it now being September, and I think it's that time of year where everyone starts to do their fall and winter fragrance list, so I figured I'd join the party here and give you my top 8 fragrances that I'm gonna be rocking this fall and winter. I've got some cheapies, I've got some expensive ones, some that you may know, some that you may not know, so buckle up, let's do it. All right, let's start with one that I think a lot of people know, a familiar face, if you will. Lattafa Khamrah, okay? A very cheap, very affordable fragrance. One that gets a lot of hate. It gets talked pretty negatively online. But honestly, for the price point, for the performance, for what this does, this smells like a boozy apple pie. And I'm talking about the original Lattafa Khamrah. I'm not talking about any of the flankers, the Kawa, the Dukan, all the different flankers. I've smelled a couple of them. Wasn't crazy about them, but the original. This is a sweet, boozy apple pie. And I think, especially as we start to get down into the colder months, the performance of this, while this may not be the most well-balanced, refined fragrance ever, you know, as it starts to get a little bit colder, you want something that's gonna really kind of cut through the cold. And I don't see anything wrong with this fragrance at all, especially when you consider the price point. Now, would I pay 50, 60 bucks for Lattafa Khamrah? Probably not. But for what you do pay for it, there's nothing wrong with it. So this is my first submission, Lattafa Khamrah. It's in the collection. I'm not ashamed to wear this. I'm not ashamed. It's genuinely a good pickup, I'm sorry. But a lot of people have a lot of videos on Lattafa Khamrah. I don't feel the need to go into too deep of a depth with it, so we'll just keep it moving here. We'll bounce to the other side of the spectrum in terms of price and talk about Calle Ocho by Fulton and Rourke. This fragrance has also got a cinnamon boozy element to it, but it's damn good. It is well refined. It's niche quality. I want to say it's like 200 bucks for a full-size bottle for a 1.7 ounce. So definitely more on the pricey side, but it's got a boozy cinnamon DNA to it that I think is spectacular, okay? If you ever tried something like Spice Bomb Infrared, which has that kind of incensey cinnamon, this is like a more well-refined, grown-up version of it. It's definitely got some like rum and booziness to it. It's not a fragrance I usually would recommend that you wear to the office, but I like it so much that I don't give a damn. I'm wearing it anyways. This is a compliment puller too. I love Calle Ocho. I'm a cinnamon guy, okay? I like cinnamon in a fragrance. This is right up my alley. I'd encourage you to look into it a little bit more if that's something that sounds like you might like. Next up, I'm going with Stronger With You Sandalwood. This is more of like a Middle Eastern fragrance, but the reason I'm gonna reach for it more in the colder months as opposed to the warmer months is the strength of this thing. This fragrance will clear out the room, okay? I've worn it to work. I hit it with the overspray when the first time I wore it, just because, you know, that's kind of what you do. You wanna feel it out, you wanna give it a true wear. And I had people at the end of the workday, 10 hours later, saying, bro, how much cologne did you really spray this morning? Because I can still smell that shit from across the room. But I think it's really high quality. If you like a sandalwood note and you like the Stronger With You kind of DNA, I think it's a fantastic fragrance. There's a very big Middle Eastern vibe to this fragrance. So kind of the same type of Middle Eastern take that you'll get whenever you try a Middle Eastern fragrance, kind of similar to Lattafa Khamrah. So there's definitely those kind of Middle Eastern incensey-esque elements to Stronger With You Sandalwood that is definitely more prevalent in that fragrance than the rest of them, but it's still something that I love. I think it's fantastic, and I'm gonna be wearing it a whole lot. Next, I'm going Jazz Club by Maison Margiela. This is one that, honestly, the first time I tried it, I loved the scent profile, but the performance on it was so disappointing that I really did not buy a full-size bottle for quite a long time. But I finally pulled the trigger on it this winter, and I got just the 1 ounce bottle because I just think the scent profile is so damn good. And also, I really think this works as a great layering fragrance. So I will layer this in when I want like a tobacco sweetness to add into any of these fragrances that I'm gonna talk about today. Whenever I wanna add like a tobacco note, like a really sweet, mass appealing, fantastic tobacco note, I'll layer in a little bit of Replica Jazz Club, and it always does me right, okay? Now, wearing it on its own, the performance, nothing really to write home about. However, it's just a lovely mass appealing tobacco fragrance. I love this stuff, and You know, it doesn't really last all night. Like I said, that's why I'll throw it in. I'll get some of the top notes and I'll let a different fragrance with better performance kind of do the work on the long haul side of things. But an absolute winner, something that I'm happy finally made its way into my collection. And now my favorite fragrance to layer that with is this right here. This is Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Extreme. Think of like a really sharp, spicy Dr. Pepper. That's the way I would describe this fragrance. It's almost got like a sharp cherry type of element to it. I don't think that there's a listed cherry note in it. I know that there's actually almond listed as like a main accord of this fragrance, which I'm not getting a whole lot of almond, honestly. I'm getting, like I said, very spicy cherry cola. Another one that, you know, I wouldn't think after first smelling it that it would be something that I would really wear to my office, but I like it so much, I just can't help myself. What do you want me to do, huh? Coming in at the number 6 spot, we have Gucci Guilty Elixir de Parfum pour Homme. Now this is one that is pretty polarizing, okay? If you told me you hated this fragrance, I wouldn't judge you and I would totally understand. This is kind of like a leather vanilla designer fragrance, but to me this truly embodies what a designer fragrance is supposed to smell like. But honestly, it's pretty strong, and so it's not something I really care to wear in the warmer months just because it becomes cloying, it becomes kind of annoying, it can give you a headache. But in the colder months, especially in the fall, especially in that like 60-degree weather type range, this stuff right here, I think is just a fucking masterpiece. I saw some comments on Fragrantica that this fragrance smells like a MILF drunk driving her SUV with the music playing loud as fuck while blasting Lady Gaga. And when I read that, I said, yeah, I get it. I get that. I love it. If you like designers, you absolutely should get your nose on it. If you haven't already, Gucci Guilty Elixir, it will always have a place in my collection. I love it. Number 7, this is another one that, like I said, it took some time for it to make its way into my collection, but it now has finally arrived, and I'm so glad that it did. Tom Ford's Oud Wood, okay? I know, this is another one, like, it's a classic, okay? Tons of people have made videos about Oud Wood. There's plenty of discourse. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people love it. I fall on the side of absolutely loving it. The scent profile on this thing is absolutely stunning, in my opinion. Now, it's another one that gets a lot of kind of negative criticism when it comes to the performance, and I kind of see where they're coming from. The first time that I smelled this in store, like I said, I was blown away. I said, I'm gonna get a decant of it, I'm gonna wear it on skin. I'm gonna give it the full wear and experience before I pull the trigger on buying the full-size bottle. And longevity and performance was definitely something that I felt like was a big struggle. But for some reason, when I got the full-size bottle, the bottle itself, like, I don't know what that is, like, the fragrance out of the bottle does seem to kick a little bit longer and project a little bit better than any time that I've smelled this from a decant. Now, there are plenty of reasons why that could be, but honestly, it's been a pleasant surprise. Another one that I like to kind of layer in with other fragrances when I really want that synthetic oud. It's not really like a loud, obnoxious oud. It's definitely more of just like it's a dense, dark, mysterious, woody fragrance, and the scent profile to me is one of the best things I've ever smelled in my entire life. This is one of my favorite fragrances of all time, and as soon as the weather started to dip below the 80s, I was immediately reaching for it. I love this stuff. I will douse myself in this sometimes. That's just a personal favorite of mine. Okay, now the last fragrance in the list, this is the one I wanted to save for the end because I don't have the full-size bottle yet, but this will be the next full-size bottle that I add to my collection, and that is Haltane by Parfums de Marly. It's a fragrance that when I tried it in store for the very first time, I was like, okay, that's different. I like it, but it's challenging. I don't know if I would actually reach for it. Kind of had the same experience with a couple of the other fragrances that I've shown you in this collection so far. So I went ahead and I picked up the decant of it because I was kind of on the fence about it, but I liked where it was going. I think I just needed some time with it. And as I've started to wear Parfums de Marly Haltane, I am slowly starting to come to the opinion that I think it might be the best fragrance in the Parfums de Marly line. It is a rich, woody, sophisticated, beautiful, woody, light synthetic oud fragrance. Honestly, a little bit similar to Tom Ford's Oud Wood, but more complex, okay, better refined, better performance, definitely a more mature vibe. I can see why maybe a younger audience may kind of like not feel so crazy about Haltane. I don't know if it's just kind of where I'm at in my life right now, but the more that I have smelled Haltane, every single time I wear it, I love it more and more. And so, like I said, that'll be the next full-size bottle that I add to my collection. I'm gonna pick it up here soon. Honestly, I can't wait to rock that one. That's one that, like, you know, I've really been kind of going back and forth, like, what's the next fragrance I want to add to the collection. I was considering getting Gucci Intense Oud. I have not been able to sample it yet because it's been sold out at all the decanters that I've been buying from. So I was able to pick up Haltane, and I just think it's just a fucking masterpiece. It's so good. The thing that I really like about a lot of the winter fragrances is, like I said, the fact that you can really layer a lot of them together. So a lot of these fragrances are different, but they're kind of adjacent in the sense that, like, you've got some boozy fragrances, you've got some tobacco-based fragrances, you've got cinnamon, you know, kind of crossing over between a couple of these fragrances. You've got woodsy notes that are kind of crossing over as well. And so I think that fall and winter fragrances, honestly, they just blend together better. You can get more complex scent profiles when you start to layer them. And I just think in general, they're just more unique and just more, it's just kind of easier to have an appreciation for a lot of these compared to like your summer, blue, freshy, generic shower gel type fragrances, which a lot of them are all kind of doing the same thing. These fragrances here are all unique and they vary in terms of complexity, but you know, they all kind of are doing the same thing in the same wheelhouse, but just in incredibly different ways. Very interesting, very captivating fragrances. So it's that time of year where you start busting out your hard-hitting fragrances. And so these are some of mine that I'm gonna be wearing this fall and winter. Let me know down in the comments below, what are you gonna be wearing and what do you think of this list that I presented to you today here? I would love to hear from you. So that's all I got for you today. Thanks for tuning in to Frag Yap. I encourage you to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in discussion-based fragrance content like this one. It really helps me out and I would highly appreciate it. It's a brand new channel, trying to launch it off the ground now. So yeah, let me know what you think down below. I'm open to constructive criticism. I want this to be, you know, a discussion, a community, that sort of thing. So thanks for watching. If you watch it all the way to the end, I highly appreciate it. And I hope to see you in the very next video, guys. Peace.